All right, here we are again with another episode from the Lair. And I got a couple questions here I thought were worth writing down, and I thought I'd share them with you here. Let's see.
Can you tell us the story and how you came up with your code?
It all started, I think it was like 2010. You know, in the Army, they send you away to schools and stuff. I got sent to one school called Battle Staff. And that school, it's kind of like you manage all the maps and work the whole staff area, and you're like the non-commissioned officer. It's kind of like when you watch like Battle of the Bulge or Patton or The Longest Day. You see them move around shit on a map, and there's somebody in the background talking on a phone. That's basically what that job is for. I'm just a crony in the whole battle staff that tracks shit and make sure everyone has coffee and nobody kills somebody they're not supposed to kill. So I went to the school, and the instructor was a E8 older gentleman, and apparently he just was born again. He was trying to clean up his act, and I have quite the potty mouth, especially when I get riled up. But he never said nothing to me about it. And we're like a week into the course, and it's right after lunch, and we're walking up to go talk to the sergeant major. Now, you don't go see the sergeant major to have friendly visits or, you know, sit down and bullshit unless you've known him forever. So I knew this was going nowhere good. So I walk in there, and the sergeant major says, "Are we really going to throw you out of this school because you have a potty mouth?" And I'm like, what? Nobody told me nothing about this. I was never told not to swear, clean up my act, nothing. You know, this is bullshit. And the sergeant major was like, "Yeah, you're right, it's bullshit. If you come here again, you're gone." I'm like, okay, got it. So that night I went back to my room and I came up with the code about the slots and the pegs and how stuff works. I wrote it down on a 3x5 card, and I gave one to each and every one in that class, so I could say the most vile bullshit there is on the face of the planet, talk right around the censors. It was fucking hilarious.
Do you think women are feeling the shortage of men?
Yes I do. I go on the internet dating apps, and I see that we're all the good men at, looking for my Prince Charming, you know, looking for a long-term relationship, blah, blah, blah. All right. So a lot of these women are now in their mid-30s and up. They've hit the wall or rapidly approaching it. And they realize that, you know, after 4-0, they might be around here for another 4 goddamn decades by themselves, and it scares the shit out of them. It is what it is. So, yeah, I do think they're feeling the shortage. Just look at the self-marriage bullshit that they're doing.
What is the reason for the dick stacking test?
It's a simple mathematical equation. Just ask a woman or somebody you're looking at dating or you are dating, how many men she's banged. Okay, you multiply that number by 6, divide by 12, and you come up with feet. And if you were to put a pallet or a ladder up at that height or platform and you push them off and they were to get injured, that'd be too many cocks. I'm sorry. After a certain amount, women just don't pair bond well with men, and the minute you're no longer useful to them, they stab you in the back. Just check out the divorce stats and you'll see why.
Okay, what is my take on this happiness quotient for women and its steady decline since the 1950s?
It all stems from the anything you can do, I can do better bullshit. So, you know, they actually have to work the job, raise the kids, do all the chores, do everything by themselves, and it's eating away at their happiness because women aren't supposed to do man shit for the most part. I mean, you don't see men trying to, you know, have babies and crap, but it is what it is. Just let it spiral down until it hits the bottom.
Why do women crave marriage and then file for divorce in such numbers?
I've already covered this before. 7, 13, 21, 24 are the main punch-out years. First one is 7 years. If you're getting divorced after the first punch-out, she basically married you to have a couple kids, and she doesn't see any more value in you being around anymore, so you get jettisoned. A lot of guys get caught by surprise on this thing. And what they don't seem to understand is, yeah, they probably don't need a dude now, but down the road they will. And a lot of women make this mistake also. They do such a good job at running the father out of their life that he doesn't come back. He's gone. And usually it takes about 5 years, and these women start to realize how much they fucked up by doing that. Because not having a father in your kid's life is the equivalent of child abuse in my book. And you can check the stats yourself. You know, kids from fatherless homes do very poorly. You know, just look at the prison stats, the census, and all the other studies. In fact, just Google effects of fatherless children, and you'll get all your answers there.
Okay, what was my take on college, and was it better than going in the Army?
Well, I went in the Army at 17 because, you know, there is no white privilege, and I had no other options at the time. The first couple years I was in the Army, I was thinking that all my friends I went to high school with are just having this great party time back in college, and I was jealous and what have you. And when I got off active duty in 92, when I went to college, I found out that it was a bunch of bullshit. And I had way better parties in the barracks and banged more chicks and saw all kinds of crazy shit in the Army than I ever did in college. So those crazy frat house days, those guys that are putting those on now, they're a bunch of pussies. I'm just saying. Comments below if you don't like it.
I have a copy of your coitus consent form, and they are hilarious.
Thank you.
Did you go to law school because it is well put together?
No, I did not go to law school, but I was a process server for a few years, and I read my share of torts and lawsuits. And I decided to come up with that for as a direct result of the yes means yes laws, which basically, if she gets pissed off at you after the fact, you're basically a rapist, you know, if she says you are, which basically is the case anyway on most college campuses. But it is what it is. I'm glad you liked the form. Please share it. And if you guys are out there in college, print it out. It's on my website. Hang it up on the boards in your school and watch the women go fucking nuts. It's hilarious.
Okay, what was the reason you went into the Army, and what was the exact moment you decided?
Like I said, I was the epitome of average, 5'8", 138 pounds-ish, brown hair, brown eyes with a 2.5 GPA. There's no scholarships. If I wanted to work, I probably needed to like work as a busboy or a waiter, work my way through school, which I probably wouldn't have been able to do, and I would have wound up at best being an assistant manager at Denny's. All right, so I went in the Army. Nobody said, hey, there's a secret line here for white guys. No. You score what you need to score on your rifle, you do your PT, you don't fall out, you don't bitch, moan, and complain. You show up when they tell you to show up, and you bring the equipment they tell you to bring. And it's just that easy. And I did that, and I went through the infantry, airborne, ranger, and special forces, because, you know, if I'm going to do shit, I usually do it the best I can, and I don't quit. I'd been stalked by this recruiter for 2 years. He knew everywhere I hung out, how I walked to football practice, where I skipped school out, and I remember I was playing Galaga at this video game, and I saw him over my shoulder in the mirror, or the reflection of the screen, and he said, how long are we going to play this cat and mouse? And he said, how long are we going to play this cat and mouse game? Because there is no scholarships for a white boy with a 2.5 GPA. And I said, I looked at him, I said, Sergeant, I'll be there on Friday. And that's how it went. And that was back in the day when, you know, they were still sending people in the Army. It was either Army or jail. And there was people in my basic training who couldn't fucking read. I had to teach them.
Okay, why is it that I bash and shame fat people? This is so cruel and shallow.
You're easy. You can't run away from the predators. You take a lot of resources to maintain. It's only shallow because you jumped in the bathtub and knocked out all the water. I mean, if you go to McDonald's, you eat one meal there a day, you're eating the equivalent of what a king would eat every day in the Middle Ages. You eat like a fucking king here in America, and you eat 3 fucking meals like that a day. Is it any fucking is it a surprise that everyone has a cottage cheese ass, or they lost a lot of weight and they have the flying squirrel suit? Is it a surprise? No. I think it's sickening. People are getting type 2 diabetes. It's not a healthy body image. It's not healthy for you, period, in the long run. But hey, if you want to eat yourself to death, who am I to stop you?
When do you think the Western culture will fail, and how will it come?
It'll come as a small whisper at first, and then there will be pretty much an economic collapse. And if you want to see what's going to happen here in the next 1 to 3 decades, go look at Venezuela. No food, rioting in the streets, shit is going south because it basically the socialism or the nationalism or whatever system they have became so top heavy that it fell over and there was nothing in the bottom. So, and it'll look somewhat like that, except There's 3 or 4, 500 million guns in the United States. You know, it's not good for anybody, and it's gonna end like that. It's gonna be a bloodbath, and I warned you. You know, so get your shit ready.
Let's see. I liked your channel and the comments. I noticed you allow some very negative comments to remain. Why do I do that?
All right, I've had this up for 4 years now. I think maybe I've banned 20 people, maybe 18. And I don't care if you write negative comments. Just don't keep doing personal attacks. I'll let it go once or twice, but if that's all you have, I might have to block you. You know, you want to argue? Fine. Give me some valid points to argue. I don't care if you insult me while you're doing it. I mean, I don't give a shit. But, you know, you can read through the comments. I give as good as I get, and it is what it is. So that's my take on the whole damn thing. And I also try to respond to as many comments as I can. You know, hopefully I'm doing a good job. I mean, I'm limited, but it is what it is. Anyway, that's all I got for tonight. Hopefully you have a safe and healthy evening, and take the condom with you when you leave. Talk to you later.